The Beatles are the best band ever. It's not just because they had 17 number ones in 6 years, or that the song Yesterday was recorded 830 times by 60 different artists, or that for the past 50 years the Beatles have sold more albums than any other band in history. What makes the Beatles so great is their fantastic music. Even to this day, the music is fresh, original, and you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who wasn't really influenced by the Beatles' awesome music. There are 4 members of the group, altogether shown here. George Harrison, guitarist, John Lennon, guitarist, Paul McCartney on bass, and Ringo Starr on drums. While Ringo and George contributed a lot to the music making, Paul and John were the songwriters. I'll have Jacob Tynan explain their songwriting competition.
Paul and John may not have been brothers, but they sure were brothers of music. Paul with his proclivity for writing sappy love ballads, and John's ability to write rock ballads made them their friendly competition, something to never be beat again. Until later, Jethro Tull.
The Beatles are the greatest band, Jacob. That's what the documentary is about.
Okay. The Beatles were slight predecessors to Queen, the greatest band.
No, it's
okay.
about the Beatles.
Alright, the Beatles. Paul and John were brothers, and that's why they became monks together.
Nope.
Never mind.
One thing that the Beatles are known for is creating the concept album. In their Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, they created a string of songs that were connected to each other, which led to the creation of many other important concept albums such as King Crimson, Thick as a Brick, and The Dark Side of the Moon.
Unlike a lot of the other popular bands at the time, in the mid-60s that is, the Beatles were declared as musically competent by other composers such as Leonard Bernstein, and Aaron Copland, people who had their degrees in music and that sort of thing. Not that that would have mattered to them at all. You see, all they really cared about was making music that they enjoyed, and it comes through especially in their later albums when they decided to experiment more in the sound studio, experimenting with sounds, different instrumentation, and chord progressions, that sort of thing. And really in that time period they pioneered in music in a way that set a new precedent for bands that would follow. What makes their music all the more impressive is that they didn't have 60 years of rock and roll to influence them while they were writing it in the first place. This is the band that Vox, a company that makes amplifiers, specifically had to make custom-built amps for them so they could play loud enough to play over the sound of the screaming fan. I guess the reason the Beatles are the best band ever is because you can't think of a Beatles song and sing it without getting stuck in your head for the rest of your life. It's just that good.
Is that Bohemian Rhapsody?
Love Me Do.
Some people might ask, what's the difference between Justin Bieber and the Beatles? After all, the majority of their fan bases, when they were at their peak, were mostly teenage girls. Well, the difference is, I would think, is that, well, yes, the Beatles' fan base when they were first popular was primarily teenage girls. After the past 50 years, the Beatles have had a fan base that's grown across all different sorts of genders, ages, walks of life, that sort of thing. There's music professors who love the Beatles. There are little kids who love the Beatles. Just basically anyone who has an ear for music will love the Beatles. Whereas in 50 years, people will ask, who's Justin Bieber? So, in essence, if you like any band ever, you have to like the Beatles because chances are they wouldn't be around if the Beatles hadn't come first.